NFL Daily is presented by Manscaped. You can save 20% and get free shipping on all the great Manscaped products, including the new Lawnmower 4.0, when you head over to manscaped.com/chat. That link will be in the comments section and in the description to make your lives just a little bit easier. First up from Elio, over or under Patriots 10 wins. I think that's a really good over-under to set for New England. They do have the extra game this year. So much of this depends on what the quarterback situation is going to be for New England. I lean towards just barely over, but I almost want to go with a split of 10 wins. I think that's a good figure there for New England. I think they'll be better than what they were last year. From the Sports Network, will the Patriots get Richard Sherman? Maybe if they trade away Stephon Gilmore, but beyond that, they don't need Richard Sherman. If they pay Gilmore, have J.C. Jackson and Jonathan Jones and Jalen Mills on this roster, there's no reason for them to go add Richard Sherman. From John Williams's, Ben Dinucci into a Taysom Hill role. See, that's the thing, and I know this is like a meme out there. He can't. He's not big enough to play defense, not a special teamer. Sure, he can be your holder. Using a Taysom Hill role, I think, is kind of stupid. Because then why are you pulling your quarterback off the field? If he becomes a gadget guy, okay, but he hasn't been that ever in college or in the NFL. From the Rainbow Cow, what a great username. If Danny Dimes is a breakthrough year, will the Giants win the division? Depends on how we're defining breakthrough year, but if Daniel Jones emerges as, let's just say, even top 15 quarterback, they're absolutely going to be in the mix. Because there aren't any other top 15 quarterbacks in the division beyond Dak Prescott. Now, the Giants have to be better than Dallas, but if Danny Dimes ends up being top 15, it means he's the second best quarterback in that division. And with as good as that Giants defense could be, they have a real chance. So it depends on just how breakthrough of a year it is, but he'll give them a chance if that's the case. From SG 2021, who is the breakout player for the 49ers this year? Is Jalen Hurts still the breakout player entering year 3 of him being the breakout player? If so, cool. I want to believe in Jalen Hurts, right? I'm going to go defense here more than anything else. I want to believe in Emmanuel Mosley truly emerging as a number 1 corner for this team. We'll see if that ends up being the case. I'd like it to be someone like a DJ Jones or a Contavious Street, some recent defensive line guys, but I think the best player is Javon Kinlaw or maybe even Brandon Ayuk, the 2 former first-round picks. I'd bet on those guys on offense and on defense. From Steven Caruso, did I get that wrong? Sorry if I did. With Caleb Farley not ready for training camp day 1, the Titans take the risk and go for another cornerback. I think that they should consider it. If you follow our Titans channel, Steven, chatsports.com/TitansTV, I actually did just break this video down. I think it's a good idea for Tennessee because they're thin beyond Farley, Fulton, and Jenkins. So maybe it's not a Richard Sherman, maybe it's more of like a Steven Nelson, but I would explore the market, especially if they think Farley will need some adjustment time, having not played real football in well over a year. From Vincent, if Roethlisberger leaves in free agency, I'm just going to go with retires probably, but either way, if Roethlisberger's gone and Pittsburgh doesn't draft a quarterback in next year's draft, can they sign a veteran quarterback in NFL free agency? So that's the problem, right? The options to open free agency normally aren't great. Your best bet is going to be a Teddy Bridgewater, and Andy Dalton, and Nick Foles. So they could add a veteran. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Fitzpatrick, if he wants to keep playing football games, also a free agent. Maybe Jameis Winston impresses, Cam Newton. There are some decent veterans, but no one that makes you go, yes, this is our franchise savior. Because I think the draft is probably what Pittsburgh will end up looking, if not next year, in the very near future. From Shanav, give me hope that Justin Fields will be a bust. So Shanav's a Broncos fan trying to feel better about passing on him in the NFL draft. I think it's this, that in terms of the bust potential, the quarterback is always fairly high up there because of how difficult the quarterback position is. I am a big believer in Justin Fields. I think he has everything you're looking for in a quarterback. Frankly, I think the whole one-read narrative was a lie. It was inaccurate. It was not true whatsoever. I think his motion is a little unorthodox there, and I think that he hasn't played a ton of games relative to the olden days of quarterbacks being 3-year starters at the college level. I like Fields. I don't think he's going to be a bust, so I might not be the right guy to answer that question for you. On the bright side, Shanav, I think Patrick Surtain is going to be a stud at cornerback. Today's video is made possible by Manscaped. I'm not saying that if I didn't manscape, my wife would not be pregnant. But I'm also not saying that. You know, it certainly doesn't hurt things on that front. So go get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com/chat. That URL will be in the comment section and in the description. All of their great products are available, including the Lawnmower 4.0. There's some extra goodies if you get the perfect package. For example, you'll get the most comfortable boxers known to man, plus some nice extra ball refreshers, I'll call them, for downstairs as well. So go over to manscaped.com/chat. If you need to use promo code chat at checkout, do so. It should be automatically applied. Link will be in the comments section and in the description. From Mitty, grade the Seahawks offensive line. I think I actually would rather just rank them amongst the NFL, which probably right around league average. I'm worried about Ethan Posick at center, but the guards were upgraded. And as long, which is a big if here, as long as the likes of Dwayne Brown and Brandon Shell stay healthy, I think that they're going to be in good shape overall. From Jordan Maloney, who are your top 3 defensive tackles to start the season? So I'm going interior guys only. Number 1, unquestionably, is Aaron Donald. Like, there's no way around it. He is the best player in the NFL right now, outside of perhaps Patrick Mahomes. Number 2, I'm going to go with Chris Jones of the Chiefs. After that, it gets a little bit tough. I think DeForest Buckner, Cam Hayward, Fletcher Cox, Jeffrey Simmons, and I'd also want to throw in Quinnen Williams inside that conversation. I think he's going to have a huge year, but he's probably not top 3 right now. So I'll go with DeForest Buckner over Hayward and Cox barely. From LaVonte Rogers, what do you think of the Bears' speed demons at wide receiver? I mean, I think that they're better at receiver this year. I think Darnell Mooney was a great find for them out of Tulane. Beyond that, you know, Marquise Goodwin is fast, but he's not a great receiver. He's more of a number 3 or a number 4 at best there. I want to pay Allen Robinson for the record. Damari Bird, Anthony Miller, Ridley and Wims, whatever. Daz Newsome, solid. I don't think it's the fastest unit in the NFL, but it is faster than what they've had in recent years. And if the quarterback plays better, the receiver play will look better as well. From Berserk, who wins the NFC East? I think it's a 2-team race for the most part between the Washington football team and the Dallas Cowboys. I'm gonna go with the best quarterback by a wide margin in the division right now, by the way. That's the Dallas Cowboys. The defense has to hold up its end of the bargain, but I'm going the Cowboys for now. From Alex Jinglestchien, should the Dolphins sign KJ Wright? They can if they want. I don't think they need him necessarily because, remember, they just paid Jerome Baker. That's one of their off-ball linebackers. Let's say they use, we'll call it 2, given the way that they can utilize guys like Jalen Phillips and Andrew Van Ginkel and others on that roster, and Emmanuel Ogbah too. Jerome Baker, they also added Benardrick McKinney, excuse me. Those are the 2 starters. Now, I think KJ Wright is probably better than McKinney for now, but they've committed to 2 guys already. KJ Wright wants to sign super cheap. I always say yes to that. But if he's not going to, I don't really see the benefit of Miami adding him, given what they have already at the off-ball linebacker position. So will the Dolphins have a top 10 defense this year using DVOA? They were just outside of that metric last year. I think top 10 is a good benchmark for Miami to aim for this year. I'd say that, yeah, they probably will be a top 10 defense. Get your votes in, though, for me. Y for yes or N for no. From Dylan Moe, will the Chiefs cut Frank Clark? Oh, what a good question. Probably not. I think they'll try to find a way to keep him. It's not fair. It's not right. but this is how NFL teams operate. If you're really good at football, like Frank Clark is, they are willing to overlook the things you do off the field. So I am inclined to think that, yes, they keep him, although it might not be a huge issue this year because he just might be suspended for the season, or at least part of the season. So I bet they keep him, but I think there's NFL discipline, or at least Chiefs discipline, coming towards Clark. Peyton George, will the Cards start James Conner or Chase Edmonds? Kind of almost a fantasy question here, too. I want to see Chase Edmonds. I think he's the better runner stage of his NFL career. I think both players, though, will be in a timeshare. It's going to be a committee at the running back position. So I would rather see and play Edmonds, but I think it'll be pretty close to a 50-50 split. From Jabriele Biglow, is Washington a dark horse? Yes, I think so. It depends on how we define dark horse, right? But I think that the football team is a legitimate playoff contender. If they get consistent, which they're probably not going to, if they get consistent top 12 or top 13 quarterback play, they win the division. I don't think they're going to get that, though, with the inconsistent but always fun Ryan Fitzpatrick. I want you guys to subscribe right now for the best and daily NFL videos on the internet. It is free here at Chat Sports. When you subscribe, there's no payment. You just hit the big red button, and you get notified each time we have a video for you guys. So if you haven't already, hit that big red button and subscribe today. From my burner account, who is the most overrated and underrated player in the NFL? Well, from an underrated perspective, I am a huge fan of Jesse Bates. He's not regarded as like the top 5, top 10, top whatever safety that he should be. Frankly, he's top 5, and he ain't 5 on that list. I am a big-time believer in Jesse Bates, the Bengals safety. From an overrated perspective, the people who I like to go quarterbacks here. Matthew Stafford leaves the Lions and goes to the Rams and is now top 6 quarterback. Doesn't make any sense to me. That's a pretty. He's good. He's in that top 10 conversation, but he's not 6 as far as I'm concerned. Other overrated players, geez. I think Sam Darnold, people believing in him, I don't agree with that. He's never been good in his NFL career. I'm sorry. There's no way around that there. Carson Wentz has seen his stock dip significantly, but I think that's a name that should probably be mentioned as well. You guys let me know what you think in the comments section. From Dan, 5 dream players the Cowboys to trade for. I mean, if we're talking dream, then it's like a safety, it's Aaron Donald, it's Patrick Mahomes, and it's probably like Jalen Ramsey and, I don't know, probably Quentin Nelson. Boom, I made the Cowboys the best team in the NFL. That's not possible, but that's the dream, I guess. From Robert Tanner, what are the chances the Rams win the Super Bowl this year? Fair or not, that appears to be the expectations or the hopes around the Rams. Last I saw, their odds were really high. They were something like a plus 1,000, something along those lines, which is, I think, pretty favorable from the Rams' perspective. Not a great value bet, but in theory, Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford is better than Sean McVay and Jared Goff, and that wasn't that far away from winning the Super Bowl just a couple years ago. So they at least have a chance. From Hipster Gangster, if the Seahawks can't get a deal done with Jamal Adams, could and should they trade him? There probably is too much of the sunk cost fallacy for Seattle to actually deal Jamal Adams. Moving on, 2 first-round picks plus other assets is a lot to give up. And frankly, it would be an organizational failure if they did not get a long-term deal done. So I think they get it done. If they don't get it done and try and trade him, maybe they get a first-round pick at best back. It's not going to be what they could give up to get him because that new team has to pay Adams big time money as well, and that always brings down the value of a player in a trade.